Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. It's a beautiful day today. Temperature's just about right. And we're hoping, the news is telling us, the weather is telling us, that next week we should get some rain. It's getting pretty crispy around here. Very, very dusty. We need it. I've spent most of the day, again, working on the oil spill I mentioned. If you're interested, it's just about wrapped up. We've got, the bulk of it. Now we put a containment barrier of these booms out there. So as the water flows, any that's still left, it'll get, caught up in that. So I'm checking on that, changing mats out. If you don't know what that is, go over and watch the locals video that I put out today, because I'm down there walking around doing it and showing you. And then and it's not just because, okay, that's kind of interesting for some people, not for others. I believe that there's a preparedness aspect to it. And I talk about that of, if you have a waterway like that, a creek or stream or river or something in your area, and that's where you want to, or you plan on getting water from when there's no place else. Well, what do you do when that water becomes contaminated? And so I talk about ways to kind of fix that and prepare for that. Anyways, the news today, it's all over the board. All over the board. Craziness is happening. Not that that's really surprising, right? Came out today that Americans have $1.14 trillion in credit card debt. The most ever. It wasn't that long ago. I don't think much more than maybe 3 or 4 months ago that we topped $1 trillion as a nation in personal credit card debt. Now it's 1.1 trillion, 1.14 trillion. Donald Trump said today that America has never been closer to a 1929 crash or a World War III scenario, both, that we're on the verge of it. And, we're seeing more and more stuff in Europe, which, as I said this morning, they're always a step ahead of us when it comes to social progression, right? Or any kind of, progressiveness. They're always a step ahead of us. And we're watching the United Kingdom especially just fall apart, where law enforcement are siding with the migrant rioters and the ones that are doing the violence. They're siding with them. They're arresting citizens for protesting and stuff against that, or for pushing back because, well, we don't want to offend them, right? They're brown Muslims and we don't want to offend them. And I have nothing against a brown Muslim. That's the point of what they're doing over there. They are now arresting people, putting them in jail because they post something that is not fact checked, or there's false news to it or something like that. And here's the thing. I was watching a little video clip of some British citizen being arrested, and the police was like, well, let me read your rights. And I laughed. I thought, they don't have rights. They have no constitution. They have no declared, acknowledged government rights. Not the same way that we do, because their rights over there aren't considered inalienable, which means the government or the king can give and take as they want to, which means it's not a right, it's permission. And that's the direction that we're going here. This Tim Waltz, what is that his name? I don't know, because I don't really care. Kamala Harris's VP pick. He said the other day that, or I guess it was a clip of him in the past, that he said that free speech is not, indefinite. Free speech is not, unconditional, or yes, unconditional. And I'm like, really? Because I was pretty sure that that's what it says for the most part in the Constitution, that, it can't be trampled on. But anyways, that's the direction we are moving. We've always been moving towards this communist Marxist left, but we're moving really, really fast there now. Israel has been attacking in Syria and Lebanon. Lebanon's been attacking in Israel. And possibly Lebanon is going to make a bolder, bigger move against Israel. According to the most sources, Iran is still planning on taking some kind of action against Israel. I kind of think, this is where I'm kind of thinking with this, is that the reason why possibly that it's taking so long is because Russia's involved. And I'll get to some things on that here in just a minute. But number one, Iran was wanting to get more stuff from Russia to defend themselves and to fight against Israel. But it's quite possible, the way things are going, that Russia could be even more directly involved. And maybe that's part of the reason why it's taken so long for Iran to make some move. I know a lot of people, and it's possible. I think that Iran is weak-kneed. And maybe that's just all it is. But it's also possible that Iran is doing some backroom deals with Russia to make this more painful on Israel than previously thought it would be. Because for the first time in 70 plus years, Russia has been invaded. The last time it happened was the Nazis. And Ukraine, with the aid of NATO, at least, at the very, very, very least, with the weapons that they're sending them, the weapons that NATO, which means United States, is saying that, yes, you can use these offensively to Russia, the F-16s, all that stuff. The training is all coming from NATO. And who knows? I mean, it's possible the triggers are being pulled by someone from NATO directly. But because of all of that, Ukraine has taken the war on the offense, and they've actually invaded parts of Russia and started to control now parts of Russia, capturing Russian soldiers and killing people. And word on the street is that Vladimir Putin is really, really upset. And so the war could change very drastically up there because of this, because Russia has made it very clear over the last few years that they would easily be willing to use nuclear weapons if they felt that the sovereignty of Russia was in jeopardy. And so, I don't know, it's possible. Or maybe they're going to turn and say, you know what? The United States has been doing this proxy war against them through Ukraine. We're going to do a proxy war against Israel and the United States through Iran. I don't know. I'm just saying it's a possibility. So maybe that's why things are taking so long. I understand probably the most likely reason is because Iran is maybe getting a little scared feet, and they don't want to start a big, huge regional war. But yet they don't want to do such a small amount of, kickback that it would make them look even weaker. I don't know. But I think things are heating up, and we should be ready for that, right? So there's a lot of things going on. The stock market went up again, almost fully recovered. And honestly, that's not a good thing. If you know anything about the stock market and you look at historical numbers, when there's a pretty sharp fall and then a quick bounce back, that's typically indicative of things starting to go crazy at some point in the near future, a much bigger collapse. So be watching that. The car market apparently is pretty much collapsing, car financing and stuff like that, because they're not selling cars. No one can buy them because they're all too ridiculous expensive and no one has any money. Of course, food prices just keep going up, and Kamala Harris is saying that when she's president, she's going to fix that, even though she's been the vice president for the almost last 4 years, and she's done absolutely nothing to fix that, or the border, being the border czar, or anything else. So it's a big clown show. That's what it is. It's a big clown show. It's two sides of the same coin, two wings of the same bird. So it's all a big clown show, mudslinging. It gets people riled up. It's kind of like that sports, emotional combat, competitiveness, football and everything, which is crazy because people, they get so obsessed with their games and stuff, even though they themselves would never be capable of playing that. And so it's the same way with the politicians. Everyone gets so obsessed with it, even though they're the same thing, right? It's the same thing. But it's a big mudslinging mess. It's going to get worse as we get closer to the election. And like I've said, there's a ever-increasing chance and likelihood that things will kind of fall off the cliff to cause some big distraction, You know, something like that. I mean, if I were a betting man, we could start taking bets on what is it going to be? What's it going to be that's going to be the big distraction so that, you know, the election can be stolen or whatever. I don't know. You and I need to continue to get ready. There's a, in my community, in my real world people around me, there's a lot of kind of intensity with everyone. They feel the push, they feel it, they know that we need to get serious. I've had some of you send me messages, emails and stuff saying the same thing that you're feeling. There may be people around you. And so I believe it's for a purpose. Things are worsening. And so everyone should be putting as much time as you can and as much money as you can towards preparations. But honestly, when you feel that that's the maximum amount of time that you can put into something, you need to go beyond that. Same way with money, because this is serious. This is your life. This is your survival. It's your family, the people around you, your loved ones. It's not something that cheap out on or to, you know, give up early on. So keep working really hard at continually preparing, becoming self-sufficient, getting your storehouses put away and built up, and just becoming overall ready for it. It's time to get your houses in order and to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.